Hi, my name is Anna Lidell. I'm a music producer and a songwriter, and I'm here to share some tips and tricks about music production with you. Today I'm gonna demystify the sidechain. Why do we sidechain and how do we do it? So first off, I'm gonna talk about why we do it and what the effect is, and then in the end of this video I'm gonna show you a trick for how to do it within seconds. So first off, why do we sidechain? I guess we all have known this situation, especially maybe now in quarantine, where all of a sudden we hear the neighbor's cat, we hear the washing machine like extremely loud. The sound is in another room, it's far away, but we hear it extremely loud. And that's because our ears have an inner compression or limiter built in that can turn up some volumes when everything is quiet. So when everything is quiet, everything is turned up. And the opposite is also the case. So we can turn down everything if it's very loud. It's also called the cocktail effect, because I don't know if you remember when you were once on a cocktail bar and it was very loud, and you're kind of able to tune in your ears and just only listen to what the person you're in the bar with is saying. So even though other people are talking very loud just next to you, you can kind of turn that down within your ear and listen to what the other person is saying. So already now, as you hear, our hearing is not just black and white, there is a big perception of hearing. And that's why a sidechain can turn down everything else in the track and then make, for example, the kick louder, because everything else is less loud, the kick feels louder. It's a bit like putting two people next to each other, and if this is the first person, this is the height, but if the next person is really, really high, the first person is gonna look lower. And oppositely, if the second person is lower, the first person is gonna look higher. So I guess we've all heard music on our shitty iPhones, and even though there's no bass frequencies on the iPhone, we can hear that kick. And if you listen to extremely kick-heavy music like dubstep or techno, stuff like that, you can still hear the kick even though there's no bass. And why is that? That's because everything else is removed when the kick is there. So it seems your ears is just reimagining the kick, which is not there. So this is why we sidechain, is basically to blend everything together, but also to manipulate with the listener's ear. So let's get into it. The most common kind of sidechain is the compression sidechain, which is what I'm going to show you right now. So I can actually just use the built-in compressor of Ableton, and then there is this little arrow here which prolongs the glue compressor here, and there is a little button here that's sidechain. So now I can use an input, and that's because we need to sidechain our sound to something. So if I just take a sound, let's do some lush strings, for example. I really love this new chamber from Olafur Arnalds in Spitfire. So I'm just gonna do a very big E minor here. Very dramatic, and I just used the capture here. I showed it before. I love it. It just records what I'm doing without even pushing record. So now we want to sidechain the compressor to another signal, and I've just found a basic kick up here. It's very subtle, and I've actually muted the kick. But even though the kick is muted, we're gonna hear it in a second. So down here at the sidechain, we choose the kick as an input. And then right now, nothing is gonna happen because we have to lower the threshold. I'm just gonna take it all the way down just to demonstrate. And now we're gonna see this, this compressor working. So now it's the opposite. So instead of hearing the kick, we actually remove the sound from the strings whenever the kick is there. And then if we wanted more like a smooth, we can do slower attacks. So it takes longer for the sound to grab the compressor and turn it down. all of a sudden there is some drama, there's some rhythm to this track. So this is great to also give different spaces, different rooms. So if I would use a bass now, for example, it might crash with the kick because they both have low frequencies. But if we sidechain them to each other, they're going to give room and space to each other. So let's do that. We've now found a bass, and I'm just going to play something simple here. I'm going to enable the click. I don't know what I'm playing yet. We'll find out. Alright, so now I have a bass, and I'm just gonna copy the process. So I'm gonna find the compressor, like the glue compressor in Ableton here. Gonna open it up, push sidechain, choose the input, the kick, turn down the threshold. Maybe now, in this case, I would do a faster attack on the bass and slower on the strings so that they don't do exactly the same. So let's listen now. So now we're at the point of the video that I promised you to give you a trick for how to sidechain within seconds. I wanted to show you the slow way to show how it works, but actually you can buy a very cheap plugin called Kickstart, and it's great, especially to create movement with sidechain. Because now we talked about sidechain in connection with frequencies, but actually sidechain can be a great way to create movement in your track. So if I just deactivate this glue compressor and then use the kickstart here, then the kickstart is already synced to the tempo, and I can choose different waveforms here and how much I want the sidechain to blend here. So let's listen. So now if I mute the kick, I basically have no beat yet, but I still have a big sense of beat and rhythm. I'm definitely hearing now a lot of stuff that I could put on top of this. So that's it for today. Thank you for listening. Remember to save your track, kick chain track. Let's see if that turns out to be a song. We'll never know. So thank you for listening, and please subscribe, share, but most importantly, comment and let me know if there's any subject you want me to talk about. So have a good January 2021. Bye.